All right, so as it sits right now, I'm content with managing the user's dashboard here. Maybe some UI tweaks could be made, how that's laid out, but this is fully functional. It gives us full control over this particular user or all over the users in our database, allowing us to do things like this. We might circle around and we might do like, creating some search functionality in a later course or something, but for now, this is the way it is. What I want to do is go onto setting up our user account component. So we're going to set up our account settings in here, and that's just going to have basically, our password, our name, our details, things like that. Very simple, but it's going to allow every user to manage their own profile. So it's not going to be restricted by admin or user roles, anything like that. So let's go ahead and put that in place. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to close out all of our panels in here. Okay, start fresh. And I want to go to, first of all, my routes. And then we'll go web. And in here, I'm going to create something with a prefix of account. We'll say accounts. We'll set up accounts in there. Name, accounts. We'll add some middleware as well. And they just, basically they have to be logged in here. Okay, I'll go route, get, and /, and then we'll say user accounts controller at index. And the name of that is going to be dashboard. Well, that's what we'll name that route. Now let's, we're going to do two things in here. One, we've got to create a controller. This one's fairly simple. It'll be accounts / user accounts controller. Okay, we got that set up. So let's go there. We'll say user made a mistake. Okay, we'll say user account controller. I need to change that to user accounts. If this ever happens, you have to change the class name, and then you have to change the actual name of the file so that Composer doesn't have any issues resolving the namespace. So public function index, and this is going to return a view of accounts.index. Let's go ahead and create accounts.index. Go down to resources, views. I'll have to create that particular folder. And we'll say index. .blade.php. We need to extend a layout, and that's under the layouts folder and app. And B section is going to be content in here. And then from here, for now, what we'll do is we'll just say, this is some content. And that will display that. Actually, let's name this here. We'll say accounts dashboard. Now we have to go over to our views, our layouts, and our app file. And then under our name, which would be this right here, under auth user, that's the one that's logged in. Underneath that drop-down menu, we need to add a dot drop-down dash item. And that's going to be route accounts.dashboard. Okay. What else do we need to do in there? Accounts.dashboard. Okay, so we'll say account settings or details or whatever you want to do there. I'm going to add a little bit of a break in here. We'll say drop down dash divider, and that'll make that look a little bit cleaner. So let's go ahead and refresh this. Look at our drop down menu, and now we have account settings, and that brings us over to our accounts dashboard. Now what we want to do is we want to set up we want to go to our app.js in our resources folder right here, and we want to add that component to make that actually work. So we're going to have to build out the component here. We'll just do the basics for building out the component. This is just getting it set up. So let's say user-account dash settings. Let's get rid of this. Don't need that one. And we'll say require. No, not as a string. It's a function we need to call. And it needs to be under components, accounts, and we'll say user account settings dot view, and that needs to be default. Now let's see if we come up with some kind of an error here where so this failed to compile because they can't find that specific component. So let's go ahead and create that folder in there, accounts, and then under accounts, let's go user account settings dot view. User account settings dot view. Okay. Template. This is going to be. It's going to start out as basically a card class dot card dot empty dash 3 dot card dash body, just like we've done all the other ones. And then we'll put we put in here h3. So we'll say user account settings. Okay, that's fine. App.js, I'm going to save this. User account settings, under accounts, components is spelled correctly. Okay, good. Okay, so it's resolving that, but it's not picking up the changes I'm making to it here. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to stop the compiler, and I'm going to start it again so that it picks up any changes made to this particular file, or I should say it watches for those changes. Now back to index, all I need to do in here now is user account settings is going to be the name of the component. All right, and that's all I'm going to leave in there, because what we'll do is immediately after this is loaded, we'll pull in our data for the authenticated user from our API. Okay. App.js. Okay, so we're good there. Okay, good. We saved that. That works as well. And now let's go ahead and reload our page and see what happens. Perfect. User account settings. Okay, so in the next video, what we'll do is we'll start bringing in our data and work on our authentication to manage our own user account.